All right, now we're recording. So it's August 7th. And how did you guys? I know some of you were on last week. What did you guys think of last week's call when we went through the reptilian brain lean magnet? That
Interesting.
I think a lot of people really like that. Usually I don't do like a training on these calls. Usually these calls are just kind of open to whatever you guys need. But that one I thought was worthy of like walking you through my process and showing you how I put it together. And not just the lead magnet itself was very interesting for one, but I wanted
It
to
was
make
very good,
sure,
John.
yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys like got the whole process from beginning to end of figuring out like what's going to be really valuable to your prospects and then presenting that in a way that you get them to opt in and then delivering in a very short, quick, concise way that leaves them wanting more. That's the whole key. If you're going to lead them toward a purchase, you have to connect the dots of how what you're offering is going to get them what they want. And the only way to do that, the only way to figure out what they really want is to do your analysis piece. It's like start at the A and act. You've got to figure that stuff out. And I know a lot of you have multiple avatars. A lot of you have different sectors of your business. You provide different products, different services, and those are for different people mostly. You know, a lot of times it might even be the same person, but they're in a different point in their timeline. You have to figure out like where your person is on the timeline and if the product that you're shoveling is going to fit that bill. If it's not, don't shovel it. Figure out where they are and give them something they can need at that given time. I see so many marketers that have great stuff. They've got really cool products and they're packaging them up in a way that makes you feel like you've got to have this thing, yet you don't need it. And that's like using marketing in the wrong way. When you are using marketing, you should be providing value, not just selling stuff. If you're providing value and not just selling stuff, that's what creates relationships. If you're there just strictly to make a sale and that's it, that's not going to create a long-term relationship. It's providing actual value that does that. That's that's what you want to focus on is providing that long-term value. So figure out what they need and step into the role of helping them get it and showing them, walking them through a journey. Like your sales process should be a journey for them. It's your introduction, it's you two getting to know each other, it's you providing value, and it's you showing them how your product can solve their problem. That's what your sales funnel should be doing. Whether you deliver it in a webinar, um, and by the way, a lot of the stuff that's been over and over and over, it gets old. You know, not to say that it won't come back in style like everything else, but you have to keep ahead of things. Like if your prospects are getting inundated with webinars and you come out with a webinar, you just look the same. So maybe just rename it. You know, if everyone else is calling their presentation a webinar, and like I said, you jump in the middle and you say, "Oh, yeah, I just released this new webinar." They're going to think immediately, "Well, yeah, I saw one yesterday. I've already seen this. I've already seen a webinar on this subject." So, do you think they're going to sign up for yours? Probably not. Even if they do you think they're going to show up? They've already spent the hour watching the webinar from the other person the day before, and I'm pretty sure they probably got hammered on the end of that webinar for sales, you know, for selling something. So they're not going to be real excited about jumping into another one of those. So package it up as something slightly different. It could even be the same thing, but just don't call it the same thing. Like you might call it a master class, and even that's been done over and over and over. So come up with a different name of whatever it is that you're delivering. That's unique mechanism. When you talk about the unique mechanism in relationship to the ACT product, or the ACT program rather, it's so you can stand out. Some people call it a unique selling proposition, whatever you want to call it. It's just you differentiating yourself. How are you going to be different? So that said, I'm part of Craig Deswalt's mastermind, and I've got a lot of people that have been reaching out to me because he's doing a book, and he's doing a compilation book, and a lot of people are writing their chapters for the book. So they're wanting me to look at their text, and and everybody's using AI to write it, obviously. And AI text sometimes isn't that great. And in fact, oftentimes isn't that great unless you prompt it properly. If you're just putting in, hey, I'm going to be in a compilation book, I need an article, 750 words. What do you have to say? It'll write you 750 words. It's not going to be very good. And when I look at it, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to say, yeah, that really sucks. And the first thing I would ask you is, what do you want out of it? You're getting an article in this book, right? You're going to be a published author. Why? What do you want out of it? Do you want credibility? Do you want to generate leads? You've got to focus on, if you don't have anything in mind and you do a prompt with nothing in mind, it's going to give you back content with nothing in mind. And to me, that's just a waste of time. That's just a worthless effort. So again, this falls back to your prompting, which again falls back to your analysis. I'm telling you guys, if you don't do that cornerstone foundational piece of figuring out who you want to sell to and what they want, why they want it, you're going to fail. There's no doubt in my mind you are going to fail. You're going to do it over and over and over until you go back, you slow down, you take a step back, and you figure the stuff out. You have to. You might get lucky once or twice, but that's not repeatable. And being lucky is almost worse than 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 anything, because when you get lucky, you base your confidence on something that's not replicatable. That's not very good for a foundational future, because almost everything that you do in business and probably in life, you're going to have to do over and over and over. Whether it's sell something, whether it's create a new product, whether it's change businesses, change occupations, become a father, a mother, everything, everything changes. Like, I've changed businesses multiple times in my adult life, and mostly not because I wanted to, because I was forced to. Technology forces change, and we live in a world full of technology. So if you think whatever you're doing right here, right now, is going to be the same a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you are kidding yourself. You better get used to the idea of change, and change throws luck out the window. If you happen to get lucky with whatever you're doing now, and things change, and you don't know how to reproduce that luck, you're going to be shit out of luck. That's what you're going to be. And that is going to lead to a very rough life. I hate that idea. I don't like the idea of a rough life. I don't like struggle. I don't like confrontation. I don't like any of that shit. I like freedom. And the only way that I can sustain freedom is figure out what I can do to replicate success. And all roads lead back in business anyway. And I've found this true in most life situations too. All roads lead back to the ACT program, the analysis specifically of figuring out, whoever is on the whoever's looking at you, and long as it's not a mirror, whoever is looking at you, you have to communicate with, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a mother daughter, mother son, father daughter, father son, it doesn't matter. You've got to communicate. And the key to communication is understanding the other person, what they want, what their desires are, why they want it, and how you can help. And if you're not helpful, you're the enemy automatically. Just just back to that reptilian brain. If you're not there to help, you're there to hurt. You're there to take something away. And their reptilian brain switch is going to fire off instantly. And now they're in combat mode. Now, knowing that, like what we learned last week about the reptilian brain, you can use that. The fact that you know that, you understand that, you can use that to your benefit in how you activate their reptilian brain and how they associate with you once it's activated. You want to be the one or the one with the product or the thing that will protect them because they're in fight mode and you are holding the weapons that they want to destroy the oncoming forces. So, I mean, that might sound kind of evil or whatever, but it's raw. It's the truth. It goes all the way back to the beginning of man. That reptilian brain was built right in. It hasn't changed. We aren't going to ever change it. We can't get rid of it. It just is. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of science behind life. And understanding that stuff is those are tools. I was going to call them weapons, but let's call them tools. Those are tools that you can put in your tool bag. The more tools that you're able to master, the better craftsman you're going to be. If you want to build a business, you want to become a craftsman of building that business. If you want to gain a bunch of customers, you want to become a craftsman of doing that. And most craftsmen rely on tools. They don't rely on brute horsepower. The really smart ones, the people that are really successful, how how physically hard do you see them working? They're not. They're not breaking their backs. They're using their head, which is a tool. They're leveraging tools to create craftsmanship of their craft. And the more tools they have, tools automate things. The more tools they have and the more craftsmanship they build, the more success they get. This goes all the way up to the ladder to the richest people in the world. In a lot of cases, their craft is communication to get what they want. So I've said this for 10 years in so many different ways. That is just a new way of me saying it. So hopefully, if you haven't heard it before, hopefully that one penetrated. I'll keep trying, but it falls back on that's the key. That's the foundation. And it's absolutely true. And it's not negotiable. It is what it is. So, all right. I think I've hammered that thing home enough for one call. So let's move on. Anybody got anything you want me to discuss or you want me to look at or questions?
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
I think I shared with you I have that client that needs the her website. We're working her website more
Yeah.
and you host it. And it has to do with making sure that as we scroll over the pictures, that it explains to the reader what they're seeing
Yes.
because she's in the blind community.
Okay. Well, this goes for anybody that's even not in the blind community. This is for ADA compliance. So I'll show you guys how that works, and I'll show you that not all of mine are compliant, and let's let's go in and see if we can change that.
All right.
So it's all about your website. So what Randy is asking is images on the website, how do you make them ADA compliant? And the way that you do that also enhances your SEO, your search engine optimization. And it's done through a thing called an alt tag. So any image that's on your website should have an alt tag attached to it. They automatically have a space for an alt tag, but it comes blank. So if you don't fill it in, you're not ADA compliant. So when somebody that is blind comes onto your website with a blind uh, browser reader, they can't see what your images are. A blind person sees through text in a internet situation. So they're scrolling through your website and they can read the text. They have a text reader, so it's audibly reading them the content of your website. But when they roll over an image, there's nothing. They can't see it. Now, there's a there's a legal um, entity that is formed to protect people with disabilities. It's called the ADA, the American Disabilities Act. And these are some pretty serious people that are they're there to enforce rules to protect handicapped people. You know, it's stuff like handicapped bathrooms have to be in all open businesses that are open to the public. Well, your website is a business that's open to the public. So technically, you need to apply the ADA rules. And one of the easiest ones to apply is this um, alt tags onto your images. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys and show you, like, this will be a walkthrough of ADA compliance at a base level. This doesn't mean that some frivolous lawsuit isn't going to come your way. There's nothing that will absolutely guarantee that's not going to happen because of the world we live in. But generally speaking, if an ambulance chasing attorney is out looking for people to pick off for easy money and they see that you've tried at least to be ADA compliant, they're going to skip you and go to somebody that just hasn't done anything because that's an easy target. So, what you're trying to do is you're trying to take the target off your back with this. You're trying to display that you're trying at least. And if you're trying, no judge in any court of law is going to punish you for trying. If you didn't try, and you're supposed to know this, right? As a business owner, you're supposed to know. I don't know how you're supposed to know, but they take this as you are supposed to know, and you've gone against the rules. So notice this little button up here in the top right of my website. This is my ADA compliancy widget. When you click that button, it rolls out a menu that helps people with disabilities to engage in my website. So you'll notice the blind mode is on. So when they roll over text, it can read it. It can audibly read my website out to the person that's viewing it. There's all kinds of stuff in here for not just for blind people, but for all kinds of people. Like there are people with epilepsy that don't have any problems seeing or reading your website. But if your website has flashy stuff on it, you could potentially trigger them to enter into an epileptic attack. I mean, let's just pretend like we're an attorney and an attorney would just drool at the idea of charging you with their wrongful death, right? I'm going totally extreme here. Let's say my epileptic friend comes onto your website. You got all this flashing shit and it drives her into a panic attack and she has an epilepsy fit. falls, hits her head on the edge of the desk, and dies. Did you cause that? They will say that you did. I mean, that's pretty fucked up, but it's the world that we live in. So these tools that I have on here cover a vast majority of, anything that could come up. Like right there, epilepsy safe mode. So as long as I'm trying, I could say in my defense, hey, this person knew they had epilepsy. They know what the symbol is for. They didn't click on the symbol and turn on epilepsy mode. So that's not my fault. I had no control over their experience with my website, but I did offer to help them protect themselves. You see the difference if you didn't have this and you have an attorney calling you up saying, hey, we're suing you for wrongful death. You'd go, uh-oh. You'd have no defense, literally none.
John, do you mind sharing what package you're using?
Yes, with that one, I'm using, it's called ADA Bundle. ADA Bundle is the one that is generating this widget. It's a really cool
Thank you.
software. Any of you guys that are doing web development, this is something you probably want to look into, whether it's ADA Bundle or another one. But you want to look into a software that generates these widgets that you can put on the websites. So anyway, that's the widget. That's all that. The widget does not go in and edit the code of your website to put alt tags on, which is where we were going. So like here's an image, here's an image. When you roll over this image, it should pop up a code. Now I'm not sure if I don't have an alt tag or if my browser's just set to not pop the codes up. So we're going to go in and find out. So what you do, I have this website is on WordPress. So I'm going to give you a demonstration in WordPress of how to do this. So when I'm logged into WordPress in the back end, it looks like this. I have a plugin that's called Beaver Builder that allows me to edit visually without having to know code because I'm not a coder and I don't want to work that hard. So notice I have a Beaver Builder tab up here. So as long as I'm logged in as an admin for my own website, this tab for Beaver Builder comes up at the top when I'm viewing my website. Now, nobody else sees that because they're not admin for my website. That's only visible to me in my browser. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that Beaver Builder tab, and you'll notice now it's going to flip my whole website into edit mode. So every time I roll over something, you can see it's got edit mode on all of my images. So I'm going to click on this image and it's going to bring up the edit box. So here's the image. I'm going to go and click on edit that image and notice there's my alt text. Build a Becky AI assistant. So that's what you need to put in. If that was blank, when their reader goes over it, it's not going to talk to them and tell them what that image is. So any image on your website, you go into the properties of the image, which I'm doing in Beaver Builder right now, showing you how I do it in Beaver Builder. There'll be an alt text box. By default, it'll be empty. You just literally have to type in the description of that image. Now, in Beaver Builder, it also gives you a way to add a title, a caption, a description, and a URL if you want to make the image clickable. Now, for SEO, if I were heavily involved in SEO and I were trying to SEO the site, these are places where I can add additional copy that the search engines will see as being relevant for those keywords. So I didn't do that here, but I did at least put the alt text in, so I'm ADA compliant. So questions about that? Arba, go ahead.
Excuse me. Yeah. I don't use WordPress. I use a competitor
Okay.
that's trying to really take over WordPress. But my question is, the what I use has an SEO mode where it will go through and use AI to do all of the alt text for all of my images. Does
Okay.
doesn't WordPress? I mean, I'm surprised now with everything has some kind of AI assistant.
So what I was showing you was just like raw WordPress if you had no special fancy plugins or anything. This is like for the very basic user, that's how you would do it is edit the image and put the thing in. Now, what you're talking about is advanced plugins that are available in WordPress. You've got a plugin called Yoast. You've got a plugin called A or All-in-One SEO. You've got another plugin that I actually use is called Zagio. And these are plugins that are specific to SEO. And they're not focused on ADA compliancy necessarily, but what they do in putting the alt tags in, you get that as an additional bonus. So yeah, there are different features of different web development tools that will do this automatically for you. Some of them will even do it based on AI, but you have to be kind of careful with letting AI choose your alt tags.
Hmm.
Reason being, AI, whether it can, differentiate what the image actually is or not, is kind of questionable at this point. So, what it's going to base its decision on is the title tag. Now, a lot of people will shoot an image with their camera and they'll take the image and they'll just upload it to their website. Well, the camera usually puts some funky number as far as the identifier of what the title of that image is. So if that's all the AI has to go by, it's going to take that number, it's going to reference it, see if there's anything at all related to that number, and there might be some weird product out there. There might be some sex product out there that has the same number that your camera assigned to your image. And now all of a sudden it's going to say, oh yeah, this is a so and so and so, and it does such and such and such. And you're like, what the hell? So,
Yeah. Well, AI has got, I mean, you know this already too, that AI has it can read images.
yeah,
So it doesn't, the title doesn't matter. And the one that I've been used, or the one that comes with what I use is pretty accurate. It'll read the image and then give a much better alt tag than I could come up with.
okay.
Much more descriptive.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted that disclaimer going out to everybody because they might not have the same tool you have.
No, correct, but I'm glad that what you did say is that there are WordPress add-ons and tools and plugins because there may be people who have websites that they've had them for years or whatever and may be very image intensive. And I wouldn't want anyone to think that the only thing, I wouldn't want them to know that there isn't an alternative, meaning that
Sure.
they don't have to go into 100 images and do the alt text. They can just get a plugin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where automation, there's automation for just about any business process. And WordPress specifically is really good at that because it's open source, it's an open source environment and there's all kinds of people developing for it. So it's like a world of opportunity. If you see something that the WordPress community might need, you can literally build a plugin and offer that to, there's a gazillion WordPress users. So it's a very good opportunity. So good,
So
good.
John, sort of kind of back to the original topic. I can do the simple photos because she doesn't have a lot of photos yet.
Uh-huh.
But since you're hosting her, as far as actually having it on her site, how do we go about? Can you actually charge us to put that on that package that you have on her site as well?
The ADA widget?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah,
Okay.
anybody that I'm hosting, just shoot me an email and just tell me you want the ADA widget and I'll add it for you. That's
I
not.
think that'll help her a lot too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
All
It
right.
won't be a complete solution. You really
Right.
should go in and do the images as well.
Right. I'm going to do the images for her.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, I'll send you an email. Thank you.
sure. You got it. And
John,
for
the
those,
information that goes into the alt text, is it helpful if you have it longer and more descriptive compared to
yeah,
having logo for this company?
yes, absolutely. For two purposes. You're trying to illustrate to the blind person, what the image actually is. And for the search engines, you're trying to I'm not going to say keyword stuff it, but you're trying to keyword stuff it. You're trying to put as many descriptive words into it so the search engines can add those to the content when it decides how relevant your site is. And obviously you don't want to overstuff keywords into your site. This is something that some of the very early on beginner, I'm going to say amateur SEO people did. And there was a lot of these. They would go in and they'd take the same word and they'd just put the same word 50 times in an alt text. And that's true word stuffing. You should not do that. They have algorithms. I mean, that worked for about a week. And the people in the search engines, Google specifically, they're pretty smart. They're pretty smart people. And when they see something like that, they just take a step back. They go to the guy that's pulling the levers, adjusting the algorithm, and they say, "Hey, can you identify people that are putting the same keyword in an alt text more than 2 times and give them a penalty? Let's just bend them over and spank their ass red." And that guy's like, "Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. Let's do that." Because not only are they very smart, they're evil as all hell. If they can do some damage to somebody and make an example, they are all over it. So be careful with, going against their terms of service. They really don't like that. But yeah, the more the merrier. There's no real limit to how long those can be. Just use reasoning, use better judgment. But also, you noticed in there was the alt text, which was the descriptor for the image, and then there was a section for a longer description. So in the longer description, you might, if it was a picture of a product, you might in the description tell them how the product works. And what I would be more in tune with stuffing in there is the benefits. Not necessarily the keywords, but the benefits. Maybe even an FAQ, for instance, especially with AI. AI is looking to answer simple questions. Search is looking to show you the most relevant results. They want to show you the web page out there that's the most relevant to a keyword that you're specifically looking for. AI is there to have a conversation with you, and generally you're asking it something. You want to know something, and it wants to give you that knowledge. So it's scanning the entire world for questions that have already been answered, so it knows how to answer them. So if you feed it that content, the AI is going to like you just like the search engine likes you for feeding it relevant content to give people relevant pages to answer their search queries. So it's very much in tune. It's very much in sync. A lot of the stuff to optimize for AI is almost identical to optimizing for SEO for search engines. It's just it's just like a slight variation. And if you do it right, you can optimize for both. There's nothing that says you can't optimize for both search engines and AI engines. So, and the difference is minuscule. It's like if you're doing one versus the other, you're 95% of the way. Another 5% will get you twice as much horsepower. So it would be honestly foolish not to optimize for both at this point. All right. Hopefully that answered your question, Randy, about how to get the alt images, the alt text in the images. And
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
okay, it's really easy. I know you know how to work with Beaver Builder. So all you do is click the image, edit the image, type in the alt text, and
Yep.
hit
I
save.
can do that. That part's easy.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Seeing is believing. I got it. Thanks.
And if there's anybody out there that's a WordPress user or a Shopify user or any website, if you have access to edit your website, generally all you have to do is go into the properties of any image and you should be able to find the alt text. So it's fairly simple. Fairly simple process. And the widget, for those of you that are web developers and you want to, get one of these packages where you can create these widgets for people's websites, what you're going to do is and I'll just talk to WordPress because all the different programs operate slightly differently. But if you're in WordPress, there is a plugin, a free plugin that you can get called headers and footers. And you can download that, activate it. Almost everybody that I'm hosting, I put that in for them because we use it for one thing or another. And it will give you the ability to drop the code and have it automatically embedded in every one of your pages. Because, if you're like most people, you've got at least 10 pages to your website because you should have probably 5 or 6 just for your policy compliance with the FTC. So you've got a privacy page, you've got a terms page, you've got a non-disclosure page. You've got at least several different business pages, and the stuff should be on all of them. So at least when it comes to the widgets, like the ADA widget, if you've got a help desk, same thing. You might have a help desk widget and you want to put it on your website and you want it to go on every page. So the headers and footers plugin for WordPress allows you to do that. It gives you, again, just a graphical interface where you say, I want this on all pages, I want this on specific pages, and then you can just drop the code or the text right in there and magically it appears on those pages. So pretty cool stuff. And for those of you that just want nothing to do with the back end of your website, just call whoever built it and tell them what you want. Let them deal with it. And if they don't know how to do this stuff, this is pretty basic stuff. If they don't know how to do this stuff, you might ask them for a referral. Or come back and ask me or Tim for a referral. So good stuff. All right. What's our next topic? Somebody throw something out there you want.
John, I had a quick, maybe
I,
easy question for you.
I could tell by your smile you were going to be the one. I got it.
I got a bunch of images I'm trying to load up, and I thought there'd be a great AI tool to sharpen them. Seems like a very simple thing. They're ones I'm pulling off, and they're
Yeah.
different pixels. And I was looking through your tools, and I was like, seems like a pretty simple thing to do. And
Yeah. You have a tool in Quantum called Retouchify.
Retouchify.
It's a new tool I just put in not too long ago, so it's not in a folder yet. It's out in the open. It's like one of the last tools on the control panel.
Mhm.
And it's called Retouchify, and it's basically to take an image and manipulate it, like to retouch it. So if you put your image in there and just say, "Can you please sharpen this?" Hopefully it'll do it for you. It's supposed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, it seems like they're not very super high quality, and that seems like some AI could just go, "Oh yeah, we'll just clean these lines up and make these
Exactly.
buildings a little crisper."
Yeah, that's exactly what it can do.
The
Now, in some cases, like you might have a picture of yourself and the photographer wasn't that great and they used real harsh, hard lighting and you don't look your best. So retouching is the answer to that. So you can go in and you can say, hey, and this is totally opposite from yours, you can say, hey, can you go in and soften my stuff?
Fuzzy it up a little bit.
Make
Yeah.
me look better, so take the reality off of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right. I'll play with Retouchify to look at
yeah,
that.
yeah. Also try asking it to make it in a higher resolution.
Okay. Higher resolution.
Because if you've got a very small image, it doesn't matter how sharp it is. When you blow it up, it's going to be all pixelated and it's going to look
Right.
be. So if you,
So it's a prompt. I'll say ask it
yes.
or ask it to sharpen the image maybe or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I would do both. I would say, can you make this image in a higher resolution with more quality and sharpen it up because it's a little bit blurry.
Yeah, that's a good one. Higher quality image. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because the prompt in the Retouchify, it has all the stuff that you would never know how to ask for. So all you have to do is just ask for the basic stuff that's on the top of your head, and it'll do the
Right.
rest.
Yeah, I'm pulling images. There's buildings that I've done that they're going for sale and that they do this great job of that when they put all the furniture in there to sell it. And they're better than any image I ever had, but
Yeah.
they won't give them to me the high quality. So I got to pull these beautiful images off and clean them up myself.
Well, if it's a good looking image and it's just small, yeah, just have it make it high resolution for
High
you.
resolution. That's what I think I can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Great.
what that does is it takes all the dots in the image. All images are made of dots.
Just dots, right?
Like you've probably heard of DPI,
Yep.
72 DPI that's dots per inch. That's what it stands for. So, like in web, 72 DPI, that's all most monitors will display. So that's the best quality you can get in a web image. And it's small because there's only 72 DPI. But if you're printing, like let's say you're going to go to a printer and you're going to have them print you a color brochure, 72 DPI is going to look like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be all these dots. You'll see them. It'll be like newspaper print. So in normal printing, like if you're going to print a business card or a brochure, you would want 300 DPI. The problem with 300 DPI in the web is you can't see visually the difference in the quality between the 72 and the 300, but the size of the image is way bigger. So load speed comes into play. So if someone's on a cell phone and they're trying to load your images and they're all high quality 300 DPI images, they're going to be sitting there till their phone just times out. And that's not a good user experience. So
Is
you
there an optimum DPI for website photos?
72.
72, that's the one. No.
72 DPI that's the top range of as good as you can get for quality, and it's the bottom range for the size, which is what you want. You want quality and speed. So 72 DPI is optimal for website applications. And
Great.
also for apps, anything that's being displayed
Right.
on a monitor or a cell phone screen. If
So
you
I could just literally say, make this image into a 72 DPI, sharpen the image and make it into a 72 DPI.
Yeah, it's probably already 72 DPI.
It's just
So
small.
yeah, I wouldn't reference the DPI. It's already going to probably keep that the same.
Okay.
But tell it you want higher resolution, which is going to expand the size that it's putting the DPI onto.
Mhm.
It's like going to take the canvas. It's going to keep the ratio of the 72 DPI and it's going to increase the size of the canvas, which is what you want.
That's what I want. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, John, got another quick question just came up. I forgot about.
All right.
In that particular young lady's website, there are carousel photos,
Uh-huh.
a couple different ones. Anyhow, where do I go to find those, and can those be changed out? And shouldn't they also have the alt tags?
Yes. So the carousel images are going to be in a plugin generally in WordPress, like it's probably going to be referenced as a slider tool.
Okay.
That's usually where you find those in the slider tools.
Okay.
It depends on what the carousel is for. If it's like for testimonials, you'll probably have a testimonial plugin. If it's for reviews, you'll have a review plugin, and that's where you'll find those images.
All right.
So
Thanks.
depending on what the carousel is for, look for the plugin that matches up to it, and that's where you'll find them.
Okay.
And if you need help, just let me know. I'll go in there and tell you where they're at.
Okay.
But it should be pretty easy to find. Generally, the tools in WordPress are fairly self-explanatory. They usually say what they are, and you can figure out what they do. All right. And a lot of the stuff, like when you guys ask me this stuff, uh, a lot of the stuff is not stuff I would think of to tell you. I know more. I've forgotten off the top of my head more than most people will ever know, but it's there. All you have to do is ask for it. So I just don't depend on me to remember everything I know to come out and tell you just because it's relevant, because I can't remember that much.
Well, some of I can't speak for anyone else, but I am just a user. I'm at the user level, even though I study and try to, figure things out. I'm just a user. I am
Yeah.
not trying to go techno.
Yeah, but just I mean there's literally a treasure trove of information through my ears. It's just you just have to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. If I don't know it, I will just tell you that, but that's rarely the case. I've experienced just about everything you could come across at this point. So, all right. Is anybody interested in QR codes? And I ask this because I just came across a software product that I bought reseller rights to, and it's called Grok. Not Grok like the tool for AI in Twitter or in X now.
So
Uh,
how is it spelled?
it's QROQ, and they pronounce it Grok. I don't know. I think somebody's got a screw loose on that, but anyway, I'm just getting it. I'm just opening it up today to play with it. But from the demo that I saw, it really, really looks cool. Like it doesn't just make standard QR codes. You can go in and manipulate the look of the QR code. Like you can make it colored. You can make the dots. And most people have square or rectangle dots that make up the QR code. This one you can have ovals, you could have rounds, you could have octagons.
I'm sold.
And it really like it makes the QR code visually stunning. And the other thing it can do is it can put your logo in the middle of the QR code.
That's what I'm interested in. I've seen one that had around Halloween time, he had a skeleton on top of it. It was way cool.
Yeah, yeah. And like, when I kept seeing the features and the benefits of this thing, like Arba said, I'm sold, and then well, I'm sold even more, and I'm way the hell sold now. But
I'm sold because it's sellable.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can generate QR codes for people. But the other thing that you can do in here, and it's all visual, it's a program that you just edit the program and it generates the QR code for you. And you can change it on the fly and show your client, hey, is this good? Or, do you want the background color different? Do you want the corners rounded? Do you want a border on it with your name at the bottom of the border? I mean, you can do all of that. It's really cool. But the other thing that you can do is you can do what is called a dynamic QR code. You guys, I've never seen a dynamic. I've just seen static QR codes before, which a static QR code is you give it a URL, you put a QR code to it. Those are now bonded forever. If the URL changes or goes away or whatever, your QR code's dead. It's done. if your offer, like let's say you give away a QR code at a conference, let's say you get 5 minutes on stage to present something, and you give out a QR code that's for a special offer that you put a sense of urgency on. Hey, this is only good for the next 24 hours. Well, guess what? Your QR code's dead now after 24 hours. Good job. Good job thinking that one through. I see people do that all the time. But with a dynamic QR code, you can literally go into the back end and change the URL to an existing QR code forever.
But John, isn't the purpose of the QR code that you're sending them to a landing page or something?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're using a QR code and a landing page, then you're controlling the offer on that landing page.
Yes, that is correct. But like I said, if you're sending them to a link that maybe doesn't exist anymore, I have a lot of people that don't know how to edit their landing pages,
Right.
or
Or they use these creative links that only make sense for that offer.
exactly. So what this does is it gives you the ability to actually change the destination of the QR code anytime you want. You're in total control.
I'm sold.
It keeps getting better, Arba. It just keeps.
But unfortunately, I have to go to my next
Oh,
meeting.
no worries. But I'm gonna keep going. But you already know you're sold. You're gonna get all this stuff.
Yep, I'm gonna catch the recording. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It does analytics too. It keeps track of all the people. It'll tell you the percentage of browsers, what type of browsers, if it's mobile or desktop, what countries they're coming from, how many times each one gets hit, all of that stuff. So you'll have access to all the analytic data for all of your QR codes on a single control panel. So really, really cool stuff. I'm actually seeing if there's a way that I could white label it, because this is a product that, I could put out, white label it and sell it. And, same thing with you guys. White labeling products, if you want to make your business look really robust and strong, and like if you want to not look like a one-man show, the best way is product development. Come out with products. One-man shows generally don't have a bunch of products, especially software products. They're not software developers. And if they are, they've got a team behind them that says you're not a one-man show. Like most people from the outside wouldn't have ever seen me as a one-man show, but most of my life I have been a one-man show. But I don't come out and look like it. So it's like that fake it till you make it scenario. Doing software, offering software as your own under your own brand, you're potentially faking it until you make it. You can draw in bigger clients this way. You can draw in credibility this way. Like Gina loves the idea that she can say, yeah, I'm a software developer. I've developed these special AI apps, and they look at her differently because of that. I mean, she just took her credibility from here up here just by being able to say that. And the best part is it's absolutely true. She doesn't have to be a coder to do that. In today's world, I've said this before, the most powerful coding language on the planet right now is English because of AI. You'll see there's a lot of products coming out now. There's a whole new industry called vibe coding. I don't know if you guys have heard that, but you probably will very soon. It's a big movement called vibe coding. And there's product after product hitting the market right now of this whole vibe coding thing. And vibe coding is basically it's a very advanced, it probably more than just a GPT tool, but it's a very advanced chat window that you can basically give it, they call it giving it your vibe. You can tell it what you want, and it will write software for you that will do it. And you're talking very advanced software. Like you could go in there and you could say, hey, I use this program called Kartra, and it does this and this and this. Here's the URL for it. Here's the product page. Here's all the features it offers. And I would love to have a program that would be its competitor. But yet I want mine to do this and this and this on top of what they already do. What can you do for me? And this damn thing will spit out the code without a development team, without anything. It just dumps the code out for you. Now, granted, you're going to have to know what to do with that code to put it live onto a website. You're going to have to know how to make databases, how to create MySQL files, and connect the dots. But that stuff, a monkey can do that stuff. A monkey can't write the code for the master blueprint for that whole machine. So literally vibe coding is the machine that can write you that whole code. You still have to go put it together, but that's nothing. So, and you guys might be thinking, yeah, that's way over my head. That's way outside of the scope of anything I would ever want to do. But here's what you might want to do. You might want to go in there, and I'll use you, Teresa, as an example. Teresa does tax prep, and she works with high net worth individuals. That's her ideal customer. So you might figure out, like, what would be a really helpful tool for me to give to my customers or my prospects to help them prepare for their taxes and estimate what they might be paying. Would that be helpful as a tool? Maybe.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm working on something like that right now.
Yeah.
But if I could find a way to program it,
Uh-huh.
it would be amazing.
Yeah. And
Because people like to interact with their computers. It's not just find this, that, etc.
Yeah. So you could set that up as a lead magnet. You could set that up as a lead magnet for, hey, opt in to find out how much I could potentially save you on your taxes this year.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got somebody that just put their hand up that says, I'm interested in your services if you can save me enough money. And now you got this machine that is literally prospecting for you, qualifying the clients for you, and handing them to you on a silver platter after they've already made the decision to work with you.
I like it.
That sounds like a beautiful world to live in. So the idea of vibe coding to create that's not a real complex program. You just tell it the variables of what they need to put in, what the calculations are for them to do that, and write me a simple widget that I can put onto my website and just drop the code in the body, and it will show up. I want it in a box this size. I want it with this color. I want my logo on the top of it. Literally, just tell it what you want.
My problem is I'd make it too complicated.
You could even tell it, I use Kartra and I would like to use an integration to pipe these right into my database. So I want to use Kartra Form API. So when they fill out this form, it goes right into my Kartra account. Or go high level or whatever you use.
Sure.
You might
it's Kartra. You know it is, John.
Oh, I know yours is, but I've talked to some people that are on Entreport. They love it, or they're still on Keep or, whatever you're on. I'm just saying, whatever you're doing, vibe coding can connect the dots and do this stuff in lightning speed. So if you're thinking about stuff that you would love to give away as a lead magnet, software is an incredible lead magnet. You've got, I'll make a reference to somebody in the SEO space that makes millions of dollars every year giving away free software. And it's Neil Patel. He has a boatload of programmers on his staff and he can afford to do that. But you guys have now the ability to do that with vibe coding.
Would
You
you,
know,
can you spell that for me? Is it VIV?
VIB, like a vibe, like a vibration.
Oh, vibe. Got it.
Vibe,
Thank
vibe,
you.
yeah, vibe coding.
Cool.
So you're basically just giving it your vibe and it's turning it into software.
And it's okay if I use examples of things that are already existing?
As far as I know, because it's going to write you unique code to do whatever you want to do. So if you show it what you want to do, yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
You could literally, like somebody else, maybe they have a mortgage calculator on their website.
Yeah.
You could tell it, hey, can you go look at this mortgage calculator and figure out how they did it and make one for me? Just like that.
Hmm.
Really,
Oh, John, you got me spinning again.
really, really cool stuff. But like Neil Patel, he made a couple of different software that was given away in the SEO world that got anyone that wanted to do SEO, they were using his free software.
Yeah.
Basically, they when they use it, they had to sign up and they have an account, which guess what? That's just a fancy opt-in. They're in his database now.
Sure.
So he naturally has the reason to reach out to them and ask them if they need more help with their SEO. And Neil Patel doesn't do little SEO. He does 10,000 a month and up. So he's got this monster machine that everyone's using. Everyone on the planet goes through and it sifts out and it'll find the one in the million that's his ideal customer with no effort whatsoever on his part. He just looks like a cool dude because he gave the SEO world a cool tool to use. So the idea of figuring out what you can provide to your customers to help them they love software. They love even more free software. So if you can give them a free piece of software that will help them do something that the outcome of what it's helping them do requires you to finish the job, all the better.
Hmm.
So
So,
are you going to be providing vibe coding tools? Is that something?
yes, we're very close to having that for you. So there's already some on the market, but yeah, I will be putting one of those out. It won't be a quantum tool. This will be a whole separate software because it's not really just a GPT. It's much more advanced than that.
And you're good at refining and making it better.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got like my scope of imagination is pretty broad. Thinking up what this thing should and could and will do is pretty good. So yeah, I'm working on that. It's not ready. We're probably at least a few weeks out on that one. But the QR code one, I'll probably have that one ready for you guys next week. So if anybody wants to jump in on that, that'll be
Yippee!
that one will be ready to roll. So I mean, it's seriously, there's so much opportunity right now falling from the sky with the whole AI thing. It's hard to keep up. It's hard for me to even keep up. Like I look at this stuff and I'm like, wow, here's 50 new things I could do this week. Which one am I gonna pick? It's absolutely crazy.
Hey John, I was at my networking one of the networking meetings I was at today. There's another gentleman who does SEO and websites like we do, and I was telling him about the AIO program.
Uh-huh.
I was telling him I said I was about to white label it, but if I white labeled it, I and sold it to him, he could white label it too. Is there still affiliate link on that or no?
Yes, that is correct. So when he white labels it from you, you're charging him a monthly fee, whatever you want. Now, with the layer of the white label, the programmers actually get a cut of the
Yeah.
fees that you're collecting on the white label.
Okay.
So like let's say you're going to charge, $97. They're going to get a cut of that on the white label. And then they also get a cut of the seat licenses.
Okay.
So like if you do your seat licenses at $9, they're going to get half of that.
Yeah. So my question to you was kind of along the lines on this though, was is it worth me white labeling him and then selling him a version for him to white label, or is it worth me just giving him your affiliate link and letting him white label it himself through you? Which is better?
Well, it depends on
Which is simple, easy? That I need to clarify that because
okay,
Tim, I want it simple and easy.
well, Simple Easy is the affiliate.
Yeah.
Simple Easy is the affiliate. No way to slice it differently. But if
Mhm.
you want to get in the middle and make the maximum value,
Mhm.
what you would want to do is white label it under your brand,
Mhm.
not allow him to white label it, and just sell him and then let him affiliate it out, which is throwing all the money right back up the hill to you.
Okay.
So it just depends on how how much opportunity you want to provide, how much, when you white label, keep this in mind. Let's say you white label and now you're going to white label, you have to support that white label.
Mhm.
So he's going to be coming up the hill to you to support him for his white label. So I don't know if you want to go to that extent or not.
That's part of why I was asking the question because I'm trying to figure out all the angles on this.
Yeah.
Because this guy here, I mean, he's got a network like I do, and just he may want to go, hey, I want to white label it too.
Yeah. Each layer you go deeper, you get more profit,
Hmm.
but your responsibilities go up. So it
Yeah.
just depends on, how you want to cut that up, how much responsibility you want, how much profit you want.
Mm. All right.
If you want mailbox money, white labeling it yourself to others is probably not the best idea if you're looking for mailbox money.
Mm.
And I know how you like mailbox money, but
You think I like that, don't you?
but I also know that you like the opportunity to make more than just mailbox money. So it just
I like to make money, but I don't want to do all the work anymore. I'm
oh,
getting
well,
lazy.
well, yeah, then that might be good for you to white label, but you not offer the white label.
Okay,
So,
I see.
John, a little bit of clarification.
uh-huh.
Last week you talked about pricing, and I think there might have still been a little confusion there. So
Okay.
correct me if I'm incorrect here. If I white label, I pay the same fees I'm currently paying, and then the $97 on top of that.
That is correct. You have
All
to
right.
remain, you have to keep your base subscription because that's the gateway to the white label.
I
So
thought maybe some people were thinking the 97 replaced the rest of it, which I knew that wouldn't
yeah,
make a lot of sense, but
yeah, that is
communication is not easy.
that is correct. So your base membership allows you the white label, but the white label is an upgrade on top of the base membership. So if whatever level you're at with your base membership, you do have to maintain that as well. So that's the way it works. And then on top of that, you have the seat fees. Like let's say you get 2 free seats with the white label. And I recommend that you use those as your demos. So like let's say somebody comes in and you've got a big player and you don't want to pay their seat fee, but you want to give them access. You can just give them the demo login access. They can access the demo, they can play with it, they can do everything a real user can do. But then it allows you at some point, like you might give away 50 demos. Let's say this month you give away 50 demos, and then next month you want to cut them out. You just go change the password to the demo account and give that out to all the new ones next month. And then that pulls their availability. I know I think we've probably made some mistakes on that in our access giving out because we had a bunch of these ClickBank guys that came in and I don't know how many accounts we gave out, but you know, I'm paying the seat fees on all of those. And if we forget, I'll be paying the seat fees forever on those and that's not optimal. So giving out a demo access is probably your best way to let somebody look under the hood, let them play with it and all that.
In that demo access though, with the password, they can't get in there and change the password and take over it on you, can they?
Well, they technically could, but
I mean, because you're dealing with people who are thinking programming. I'm just thinking, would
they
I be able to get it back?
well, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Because you have the main admin, you can reset the password. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no problem with that.
And you and I had talked about like I was going to do a combination between the AI Dominator and the um oh God, and what's the other one there? We have
The quantum?
the Quantum. I wanted to do a combination of the two to in
Yeah.
a white label and
So,
in
so here's what you could
for
do.
web developers. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's what you could do. You could literally do a white label of quantum.
Hmm.
You could pick the tools that you wanted from my set, and then you could also create a new set of tools for your users, go into the God mode, and you could replicate some of the AI tools, the AI optimization tools,
Hmm.
and offer those under one package.
Okay.
You could do that. In retrospect, looking at it from, hindsight, I could have done that as well. And I probably should have, but I didn't. And it's too late for me to go back and rework everything because I just don't.
I'm just looking at a way, you know how Gina went with lawyers. I'm
Yeah,
looking at it now in the Dallas area of going after SEO and web designers.
yeah.
All
And
right, because in my network, I have a couple dozen of them, and I'm not going to compete with them. I'm just trying to find a way to make money from their audience.
yeah, 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 exactly. So you could definitely do that. You could create a whole new suite of tools and away you'd go.
All right, we'll
You,
talk soon.
you could literally just throw all my tools out the window and make all your own unique tools. So, if you had a specific audience, like that's why I put that set of woo-woo tools in there. I know there's a
Hmm.
lot of people that have that audience that, they're all the people that go by the stars and the horoscopes and, all that. There's probably 20 different tools in there that I have no idea what they do or how they work.
Hmm.
But there's a whole community around that. So that's just for them. If they want to white label and create a set of tools for their audience, their audience would just be in seventh heaven having all those tools. There's like a compatible mate compatibility tools. There, all kinds of stuff.
Discover your inner rock star tool.
Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. It's not my game, but it's a big enough game that I'll provide the playing board for anybody that wants to play.
I see Teresa smile. I'm betting there's a good line coming here with her
Oh,
zinger.
no, it is. I will tell you, those woo-woo tools are amazing.
Are they?
I went in and did my tarot, some tarot cards. You just
Huh?
go in and pick a couple, three cards.
Yeah.
And the descriptions are so, I mean, I could be a fortune teller in like a
Yeah.
week or a day. They're very, very well done. I mean, it's just amazing and just couched properly so that they never really give you an answer, but they make you feel good. They're never critical, never, never saying, "Oh, you're going to fail at this." I think I asked it something like, "Do you think the lead magnet I'm working on will draw more customers?" And it just got on and on about, yeah, well, maybe. It was a hoot. So anybody that has to make a decision, just go into the woo-woo tools and listen to them because it's like talking to yourself.
That's awesome. That is so
They
cool.
are fun. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, but there's a whole world of people that's their world. They have
Absolutely.
seminars, they have yoga classes out on the beach. It's a whole world of people that all you'd have to do is do a white label, put the tools under your brand and offer them just that suite of woo-woo tools. They will eat it up. You'll make a fortune. That's just not my thing. It doesn't mean that I can't offer you.
What? You don't need another business?
I really don't need another thing to do. I'm happy to
You're-
provide. I'm happy to provide the opportunity, but I don't want to go and create a whole another business and learn
Well,
another
my curiosity is, where did you get those?
from AI.
Really?
I had enough people ask me about them that I went to AI and I said, I don't even know what to call this world other than woo woo. And I said, do you understand what I'm talking about? And it said, oh yeah, I get it. It's this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I've never heard of any of that shit, but yeah, I
Wow.
guess. And then
Can
I'm
we?
like, what would the most beneficial tools for this market be? And it just spit out a list.
Amazing.
Could we build a website analytic tool? I forget who had one of those, but I've thought about doing that.
You
Is,
could, well, I don't know if you could even get it because of Google, but there was a couple of guys down in San Diego that made the absolute best analytics tools for websites ever made. And they did it under a brand called Urchin. If you could somehow research the original programmers and developers of the Urchin analytics product software, if you could find those guys and get some old, their non-compete is probably over by now, by the way, but they sold that to Google and it became Google Analytics.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
wow.
Google stripped out all of the useful information for SEO out of there, but it had all of it. It would literally give you the keywords that people were coming to the website for. It would give you everything. That was the best analytics software ever for a web server. And when it first came out, I saw what it did and I knew how to use it for SEO. I actually bought commercial licenses so I could install on all of my servers. And I just gave it to all of my customers. Everybody that was on that server got access to a free account. And we used it. We learned a lot about SEO early on, from keywords, what actual keywords people were typing in and what they were looking at after the fact, after they'd typed that keyword in, where they were exiting. We learned a lot from that software. And then Google bought it and they stripped all that data out because they didn't want people like me having access to it. That was dangerous in their eyes, and rightfully so.
John, how you spell woo woo? The one you were talking about?
The analytics tool,
Yeah.
Urchin,
No,
URCH,
not that one, but the one before that. Woo woo woo.
Google.
Woo woo. He was talking about
Woo
the
woo.
woo
Oh,
tools.
woo woo. WOOWOO. Woo woo.
WOO
Yeah,
and the,
WOOWOO.
they're inside the AI suite
oh.
of
Yeah,
Quantum.
yeah. There's a folder and it's got, I don't know how many tools are in there. There's probably about 20 of them.
I don't know. I go in there very little as much anymore. You pay for this for the month, and like it was great in the beginning because you learn all this stuff, and then as you learn it, it opens up so many other things you got to go do. You don't get time to go look at it.
Oh, and here's another thing. If you're gonna white label, and I don't know why this didn't occur to me, when you're selling software, the best thing that you can do is make it sticky. You want client retention, right? Client retention on a website's easy because they have to keep paying the hosting and they wind up never going away. So web development hosting is a really, really good sticky business to keep customers forever. SEO is pretty sticky, but you can lose SEO customers if they don't see results. I have one of the stickiest ideas ever for keeping people in the white label. If you white label the Quantum, I'm putting a tool in there that's called Actually, I don't even think I have a name for it yet, but it's basically it's a version of the Build a Becky tool, and you will be able to put a knowledge base in and put a personality and build a pseudo Becky bot for your customers where it'll give you the widget code. They put it on their website, and as long as they keep their membership, they get the Becky bot on their website, which could be a version of just them or could be any personality of anyone that they want. Could be an influencer in the market, could be any of that stuff. So as long as they keep paying their membership, they get to retain the bot on their website. If they lose their membership, their bot goes away. Bot goes bye-bye. So that makes it sticky. So if you want to offer the white label and make sure people stay with you forever, just help them put a bot on their website with it. Put it on there. Like Tim, go in and put it on yourself for them. Create a bot for them. It'll take you 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on their website and say, as long as you keep my white label, I just put this thing on here for you. You can keep it as long as you want. Free bot, free personality bot. You know, it could be their personality, it could be anyone. You could have like an assistant. You know, if you don't want it to be you and you want it to be like, I created Becky originally for that. She introduced herself as an AI assistant that had specialized knowledge in this and this and this, here to help you with your marketing. You know, because I wanted that level between her and me, so she could help people on a normal level, but then when they needed higher end, they would come up the ladder to me for private consulting, you know, at $1,000 an hour. But it would help everyone get what they needed, and it would sort them out. Just like Neil Patel, he gave away the free software on the low end to separate the herd from who will pay him $1,000 an hour. That's the idea of a funnel. You have this big scoop at the top, and you're pouring everyone in the world in the top of the funnel, and then the funnel is squeezing that one person out the bottom. That's your ideal customer. So that's why I did Becky. That's why I created the original Becky, and she was so cool, everybody wanted her. So I built the Build a Becky. And
That's
now
Yeah,
I've
that's why I built all the info products that I've built, and now I quit trying to sell the info products. I give the info product away,
yeah.
and then I upsell the class to that you can get your questions answered onto it
Uh-huh.
for a small fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about the funnel process is really just a process of identifying your ideal customer, taking them through a presentation of some sort, and making them an offer.
Mhm.
No matter how you slice it, that's the bare bones of the animal. You can put as much fat on him as you want, but he's still got the same bare bones. It's the process that never changes. How you deliver the process, who you deliver it to, and what you say to do it, that all is changeable.
Well, I started doing that with the giving away the programs because I was starting to think of, the mouse doesn't think about why the cheese is free. And I started to, I mean, literally, I added probably about 600 people to my email list in the past 2 months by giving away the programs.
Yeah.
All right. And the ones who opted out when they got well, hey, I know you're overwhelmed with all this right now email. If they opted out on that, well, you just told me, number one, I've separated you from the herd. You're not my clientele.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. That's the funnel. That's the whole idea of pour a whole shitload of them into the top. Let the funnel do the work to
Yeah.
squeeze the lemonade out the bottom of the funnel. And that's what you take and put in your cup.
And then, I mean, and I did this the other day with I think it was with ChatGPT, not Perplexity. Is I basically did that with I went in there and I outlined the whole thing to it. Of I've just added 600 people to my list. This is why they came. This is what they're getting. All right. What's the monetization process? All right, to take them from this free offer to my mastermind program.
Yeah.
Could you outline that for me? All right, in three different options. And I was like, oh my God, I never thought of that way. Oh, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you sit and you've known this for years. But like to me, I was like, once I have the resources, now I can ask, how do I make the resources work? Is the way I went with it, as opposed to trying to plan it all out ahead of time, because I will try to plan it out all ahead of time. I just want to put 1,000 people on my list, then I'll figure out what to do with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing with reptilian brain.
Yeah.
Uh, speaking of what you just said, that's the social proof magnet. That's the social proof trigger.
Mhm.
And
Hey
that's
Tim, how did you
third one.
promote your lead magnet, your free software? How did you promote? Did you take out an ad on Facebook or something?
No, I partnered with people like, I partnered with there was a guy in Tennessee who was doing a promotional thing, and I said, hey, if you let me put this in, your people can have it for free. And I would partner with people like John or like you, who you're giving something away or you're selling something, and say, hey, you can give this to your people as a bonus.
Gotcha.
All right. And then they have to go through my sign up process to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
speaking of that, I do that kind of thing every once in a while. And I just did one recently that I have to apologize for anybody that jumped in on it. I did that summit, and that was an absolute clusterfuck. The deal was, they say you have to promote it to your list, and then everyone else promotes it to their list. And basically, what you're doing, I was promoting it to the promoter, and the promoter, I've got people that told me they opted in and they've received like 60 emails.
95.
Oh my God.
It was horrible.
Yeah, yeah. And then I had other people that said, I signed up for the $47 thing, and I don't even know what the $47 thing is in their whatever they did. And he said they charged me 97 and they charged me 3 times, and nobody, and I'm just like, oh my God. All I can say is sorry. I, lesson learned. I
But I may along that lines though, John, I may do something like that to the list and go, okay, all of you guys who have something of value to do that with. All
yeah,
right. I may sell them like this. Normally I'm going to sell this for 97, but today it's 27 only, and throw in a bunch of free things. So Manuel, all right, or Teresa, you guys go, hey Tim, if you're doing that, here, I'll give you my program for free. Because if you've got Kartra, you can set up a free opt-in for them to opt in. And now I've taken my list that I was selling them something for 20 bucks, but they get your bonus for free. You now get to add them to your list. Yeah.
yeah, but you're probably not going to email them 95 times a
Nope.
week, and you're probably not going
Nope.
to take their credit card and charge a bunch of shit they didn't say
No,
yes.
I'm going to do that honestly because I'm only going to do it as in I'm doing something to sell it to them to help them at a low dollar, but that is an opt-in way. Like, I mean, he was asking, that's a way to do it is, hey, Tim, if you're doing something with your list, how do we collaborate? Do we have
Uh,
something like
yeah,
John and I have something alike to collaborate with, but some of you don't, but collaborate with other people who are doing that. It's a free ride off of someone else's promotion.
yeah, yeah. But that particular one, I've just felt bad about it, and I think I got one sale out of the deal, so it's not worth. So be careful if you go into these summit offers. There's a lot of them out there, and I usually steer clear of them. The only reason I did this one at all was it was highly recommended. And
We'll
I
have
got to
to
run,
laugh,
guys.
John.
Have a good
I
week.
got 6 emails today from them.
yeah, I get it. Just unsubscribe and hopefully they'll honor that. I don't know. But I've
We
had,
might have to make you walk the plank.
yeah, I might deserve it on that one. I can
No, good intentions count.
I can admit when I am wrong. That was ugly. And normally I won't do that. And I got to tell you, they expected me to send you guys 10 emails to my list. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I will send one. I'll,
And they are doing those 10 emails.
oh yeah. Yeah, they're doing a lot more than that. But they wanted me to send 10 to my list.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your integrity always.
I'm like, no, with me, you get one email to my list because that's all I do. So you're not going to do any different. Anyway. All right. Well, that was pretty much, I think we covered everything. Anybody got anything else last minute you want to throw out?
Thanks a lot, John.
All right. Okay, well, I will see you guys next week at the same happy time, same happy hour, all that good stuff. Let me know if you need anything between now and then, or if you want, if you've got a topic or something you want me to cover, just let me know ahead of time and I'll do my best. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you soon.